What's up, guys? So I was inspired to do this video by a topic from an article that I have not read yet. Maybe I'll read it later, but the article itself seems pretty dull and very long. But the title of the article was A Plus in Independence, Why College is Not for Husband Hunting. And so I'll link the article in the description if I can remember, and maybe I'll read it later and do another video review on that. But honestly, I want to express my thoughts on this issue just very quickly. I've already done a video on the whole concept of dating in college and how things have changed dramatically from something, let alone just 10-20 years ago, where it was very much more traditional and dating was really just the norm, and there wasn't as much hooking up and partying. Personally, though, I don't think it's as bad as you guys think. For me personally, in my life at a state university, and I'm sure a lot of other, probably thousands of other people at my school, we go through most of college, if not all of college, without ever getting into that party or nightlife or even being aware of it. However, there's obviously a huge crowd, or whether that's a minority or a majority, which I doubt it's a majority, that follow this. And there's nothing wrong with it. But again, it can play detrimentally to those people looking for some sort of husband hunting. Now, I've met like quite a few people who are in the military and they're married already in college. It's kind of weird, but maybe it's something regarding the military that presents that sort of culture. But regardless of the reason, a lot of them end up being married already or marrying while they're still in college. Some of them went to the military and served for a few years, whether it's Air Force, Navy, or military, before attending college. So they are all a bit older. Maybe that sort of lifestyle or culture indoctrinates them to that sort of lifestyle. So again, like, you see these Twitter pages and college confession websites or whatever, and there's this huge outpouring of hookup culture and a lot of things that people who don't go to college would think this is crazy. I bet everyone at college is just constant nightlife, partying and alcohol and hooking up. And quite honestly, that's kind of somewhat what I thought when I went into college deep down. But it's not like that at all. In fact, getting into that sort of that sort of circle is actually somewhat hard unless you are connected in a way, or you fit into a certain demographic group. I'll let you guys decide on your own what those requirements are. But as far as finding a husband in college, I think it's quite interesting because I come from a traditional Asian family, and my mom and grandmom and my dad, I don't know, maybe it was different when they were in school, but they're under this constant assumption that you better find someone in college because it's going to be a lot harder out of college. You're running out of time. I don't know. Personally, there's a whole, like, I hate that whole dynamic because I don't think, like, most people I've met in college, they're still very immature, they have very simpleton mindsets, very naive on lifelong goals, and they lack a lot of passion and drive and so forth. And so I don't know, it's a different thing because I don't know the specifics, but like 100-200 years ago, people died around age 20, so it was a different sort of dynamic. Like, that was your typical life cycle before, like, you were dead. That was your lifespan. But nowadays, you got people who live up to 30-40 years of age, and it's primarily guys, but I feel like they don't settle down. They're still single, and it's completely normal. And some people actually recommend you settle down once you're in your later years, so 40 to 50. But it's, again, a very subjective thing that varies and depends on your personal preference. But again, just to finish this whole thing up, this whole idea of finding a husband or a wife at college, it's definitely doable still. Like, it's still being done. I know plenty of people who are in serious relationships in college, a lot that aren't, and a lot that you can't tell. Honestly, from my personal opinion, like when you walk in the daytime at my campus, out of the hundreds of people walking about, it's honestly very hard to tell who's what, honestly, like, because other than physical features and judging them based off that, and again, that's a skewed thing, like, you can assume these things, but it's like, sometimes you're surprised, sometimes you aren't. But like, even going up and talking to a lot of them, like, they won't really tell you the truth, whether they're the type who hook up every night with a different guy, or they're very conservative, because the ones who hook up a lot, they're not going to admit it anyways. And a lot of these people don't really care to hook up I mean, they don't care to find a husband in college. And I think they're personally more along the mindset I am at, because a lot of these people rush into marriages with their first or second relationship, and it just screws them over consistently. I mean, there's so many examples, like the divorce rate, it's like something I've seen, like 47%. And I mean, if you look at the amount of celebrity marriages that don't work out, I mean, there are people who get divorced in the next week after they get married, and after the next year. Like, how many celebrity marriages end in divorce? Like a great amount, and in a very short amount of time. And all these things, in my opinion, from finding out about them, just sort of add up to this whole idea of, holy crap, this whole freaking like mindset of rushing into your first or second relationship is pretty much similar to trying out two foods after you were born out of the womb and deciding this is your favorite food ever. It's obscene. You have to have standards. You have to try out a lot of different people. You have to really test out who you want to spend your lifetime with, even after they get old and they're not physically attractive anymore. And that sets high standards, in my opinion. And honestly, that's why I don't think you can really find out the ins and outs of a person until you've like lived with them for at least 5 years, because they're probably hiding a bunch of stuff that they don't want you to find out about, whether it's that they fart a lot when they wake up in the morning, or that nice, happy, sort of friendly personality that you think they are naturally. Well, honestly, it turns out they're really grouchy and selfish and rude to other people when you get them in their natural state. I mean, this is how divorces happen. Like, after they get married and the wife thinks that everything is settled down, the husband too, they think they're all in the clear, and they let their bodies go, or their true personality finally gets revealed over time, which turns out to be this very grouchy, rude, caustic person. And so, long story short, while I'm more in the lines aligned with the perspective that marrying in college may be a little outdated with the progression of our expanded lifespans. That doesn't necessarily mean I agree with the hookup culture. Honestly, I mean, I don't condone it. There's nothing really wrong with it, honestly. But yeah, all I can say is, like, honestly, nothing wrong with the hookup culture. But marrying in college, it's just the perspective of it is changing. I mean, 50 years ago, like my professor says, most people at our college campus were white males, and that has changed dramatically. Now you get people of all colors of the rainbow, of both genders, and on top of that, like, the traditional dating in college has changed. People don't date. Some people still want to, but it's a very strange scenario. I honestly think there's always people out there who will satisfy what you want, but again, it can be hard to find, whether it's a date or a hookup. And those things really just like I said before, it depends on where you are, because like both genders have different opinions on the issue. Like, let's just look at dating. If you ask a girl out on a date, like, how many girls complain about, oh, why don't guys ask people out on dates anymore in college? But then when you look at it from the other perspective, there are guys who ask girls out and girls reject them because it's just over the top. It's like, date? What? Like, that word, it's just too much pressure and so forth, and they don't know the guy, they don't know what's going on, they think it's too formal, they think the guy's, it's just too much. And I mean, there's YouTube videos on this, regardless of the fact that they're prank videos. There are like videos where guys ask out girls on dates, but it's really like the girls wouldn't know it's a prank until afterwards. Basically, the guys dress up really formally and ask the girl out on a date with flowers, and yeah, you'll see like plenty of these college girls rejecting the guys because it's like, it's just too formal. So as far as husband hunting, it can still be done, but again, it's rushing into things. There are high school sweethearts who get married, but it's very much different. College is, again, more so a stepping stone nowadays. The culture is changing, and I don't know. I think there's a lot of stuff that I would personally improve on for my own personal benefit if I could. But again, that's just being selfish and stupid. But just to list a few, I guess, yeah, I wouldn't mind being invited to a few more parties and nightlife stuff. And so again, that's my very different perspective. And I wouldn't mind a little bit of the hookup culture, but again, from my side of the pool, or my side of the fence or field, my college experience has been completely devoid of that. Even when I try, it's just how it works out. So for me personally, it's just been completely professional, work, school, lectures, study, library, and that's it, you know. And yeah, people they don't want to invite me. Believe me, they just, yeah, but those are stories for another time. And so there's many different outlooks and facets to it. Anyhow, I'll see you guys later. Peace. And now, like, it's different because there's people who
You can't handle the truth. Oh, sorry.